I am excited to be here for this first episode. Welcome to the CoLiving Investing Podcast. I am your host, Ashley Jeffers, and this is the podcast where we talk real estate, entrepreneurship, and sometimes we'll throw in a little tech. I'm so happy to be here with my first guest, Miranda Solomon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start off with your background. Like, how did you get here to being a real estate agent?
I did work for 18 years for UPS, and I was in sales. Ultimately, 18 years came and went, and I was extremely unfulfilled. My dad, he was a realtor in Charlotte for 30 years. So I kind of grew up watching real estate and was always fascinated by it. The part that was hard was just getting used to not getting paid on the 26th of every month.
Every single month.
Every single month.
Yeah.
That was the difficult part. I came into real estate understanding that I don't need to sell another house if it's not going to make me money. I enjoy selling houses, and that's great. But if you told me tomorrow you'll no longer get paid to do it, I'm not doing it anymore. Right. So it doesn't matter to me how many sales I have. You sold this many million, you sold that many million. What did you profit? Right? Because if there's no profit, then there's no business.
There's no business. So I am excited to be here for this first episode. Welcome to the CoLiving Investing Podcast. I am your host, Ashley Jeffers, and this is the podcast where we talk real estate, mostly about co-living or shared living investing, room rentals. We talk entrepreneurship, and sometimes we'll throw in a little tech. So first episode, I'm so happy to be here with my first guest, Miranda Solomon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is a long time coming. I've been wanting to have to start a podcast for about 3 years now. And I've been telling Miranda she's going to be my first guest for the last 3-4 years. So this is amazing to finally be together. Miranda is my real estate agent. She helps me navigate real estate markets here in Charlotte locally and outside of Charlotte. And so I wanted to have her on as the first guest on the podcast just to set the stage for a new year. I'm about to age this podcast, but we are going into the year 2026. And so I thought it was important to have a real estate professional. So Miranda, you have been a real estate agent for how many years now?
10 years.
Wow.
I am going into my 10th year, and I'm excited.
Congratulations.
So thank you so much.
That's
thank you
amazing,
so much.
Because a lot of real estate agents don't make it past year
1 year. Correct.
Yeah. So for you to be going into 11 is a huge accomplishment.
Yes.
So I want to start off with
Very thankful.
Right. I want to start off with your background. Like, how did you get here to being a real estate agent? Because I know that you did have a W-2. So can you kind of tell us like what you were doing and how did you decide, you know what, I'm going into real estate?
Yep. So, and I miss the W-2 life sometimes. So I want to start out by saying that.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is amazing. Mm-hmm. It really is. But there are certain aspects of the W-2 that I miss. Mm-hmm. So I did work for 18 years for UPS. Great company, Fortune 50 company. Everyone's heard of it. And I was in sales. I started out randomly. My background is in like computers and accounting and all this stuff. So I started there as a software developer.
Wait a minute.
I know.
Pause.
Random.
You went to ECU.
I did go to ECU.
What was your major at ECU?
Accounting and what used to be called MIS, Management Information Systems.
And from there, you ended up at UPS.
At UPS as a software developer.
Software developer.
Creating shipping systems. Yes.
Okay.
That's what I used to do. I used to write code.
I'm not sure how you got there, but okay.
It's kind of random.
Interesting place to start.
That is where I started.
Okay.
And then that moved into like supply chain optimization and all the other things. But where I really found a home was in sales, right? So started off doing the development work and all that stuff. But the interesting thing was not only did you have to create the system, you had to sell it, right? So from day one, I was kind of in sales with UPS. And then I moved through marketing and some other stuff like that. But ultimately, 18 years came and went, and I was extremely unfulfilled in my job. I just didn't feel like I was doing anything that made a difference to anybody. Selling, just selling between companies just didn't seem to make a difference. to anybody. And my dad was a realtor. We lost my dad in 2015, but he was a realtor in Charlotte for 30 years. So I kind of grew up watching real estate and was always fascinated by it. So in 2015, I decided to go ahead and get my real estate license and just see what real estate was talking about. And for about 3 years, I did both real estate and my full-time job with UPS.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. So that was very interesting. But real estate very quickly took over because, I mean, you know, if you're just comparing money to money, it's very, I don't want to say it's easy, but let's just say it's not difficult to make a lot of money selling real estate, right? It is difficult to run a profitable real estate business, but it's not difficult to make the money. It's difficult to keep it. So anyway, but yeah, the money started taking over, and you know, around that 18th year, I just got that itch and said, you know, I think I could do this full time and just step out here and do it. There was a lot of frustrating things going on at UPS at the time. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. The leadership, I just didn't feel it. And so it was an easy decision to step away from that. The part that was hard was just getting used to not getting paid on the 26th of every month.
Every single month.
Every single month.
Yeah.
That was the difficult part. But it made me come into real estate and understand that real estate is a business.
Yeah.
Right. And much the same as during the time that I was managing profitability at UPS, one of my jobs, that's what I was doing. I came into real estate understanding that I don't need to sell another house if it's not going to make me money. I enjoy selling houses, and that's great. But if you told me tomorrow you'll no longer get paid to do it, I'm not doing it anymore.
Okay.
Right? So it doesn't matter to me how many sales I have, how many you sold this many million, you sold that many million. What did you profit? Right? Because if there's no profit, then there's no business.
There's no business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time that you transitioned from UPS into becoming a full-time real estate agent, you were married. Did you already have one child? And you were like, yeah, this is a good time.
It's a good time. This is a good time.
And your first baby was how old at the time?
She was 3. So when I started, when I decided to take the real estate course, okay, I was still working at UPS. That was 2015.
Yep.
And Cameron was 3. And I was actually pregnant with Jameson.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Because you took the exam pregnant.
9 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yep.
I passed the real estate exam on October 15th. Jameson was born on October 27th.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Because I don't want it if it's that easy.
So this is a good example of real estate has been a blessing to your life. This is something that you desire, something that you have continued to thrive in for going into 11 years. The way it started, maybe not the most ideal timing, but when God gives us something, it's like, it doesn't matter what you think it should look like.
Exactly.
You ask for this, you're going to take it how God gives it to you.
And that's how it's been since day one.
It's been since day one. Okay.
Since day one.
That seems to be a reoccurring theme in real estate.
No, it is. It is.
That we desire these things that we want to go into real estate profession, I as an investor, you as an agent. And it's like, oh no, it's supposed to go like this. Like it's supposed to be, I started this thing and I'm just going to grow and go up and progress. And that's how it's supposed to go in my mind.
That's how it's supposed to go.
But really, in reality, there's going to be some challenges along the way. There's going to be some setbacks along the way. And you're really going to see if this is something that did you really desire this from day one? Because there are some things that will come up where it's just like, you know what? I'm going to go back to UPS. Did you ever have you had moments over your career where you were like, you know what? I'm going back to UPS or I'm going back to a W-2 or a sales job where the income is steady and I know what to expect, even if it's, not the greatest work environment.
I have that thought 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
Every
Okay.
day.
Okay. I was thinking
like,
more so periodically, but you're saying multiple times a day.
Multiple times a day. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go get a job because this ain't it. No, it's but you mentioned something though. So it's not like this, right? It's like this and then down and up and down and up, right? And those are all lessons, right? Because if it went like this, you wouldn't learn anything.
Right.
You just start out and you're just great at it and all that. And the thing is, I study real estate a lot. And I know you study real estate a lot.
Yes.
And every time I've lost, I've learned. Right. And so I can't say that I've regretted any of it. And yet some of those losses do feel like what is happening? Do I need to go and just get a job? Because the market over the past few years has been very interesting. So when I started real estate in 2016, we were in a seller's market. I don't think I really understood what that meant. But what that basically meant was that there were more buyers on the market than there were homes for them to buy. And that was in 2016.
Yeah.
Right. I left my job in 2018. And then in 2020, you may recall that we had a minor setback.
Just a minor setback.
Called this global pandemic hit. And that was one of those times where I really was like, oh, I need to go back to work because I don't know what's happening out here. I don't know exactly what this is going to mean, for the economy, let alone the real estate market. And what it meant for the real estate market was the real estate market blew up.
Yeah.
In 2020, 2021, 2022, we went from a seller's market to an extreme seller's market. Just for reference, I know that there was a time in 2021 where the supply of homes on the market, right? We had in Charlotte, we had less than 2 weeks of home supply on the market, which means if no one listed another house for sale, it would have only taken about 13 days for everything
to sell
in
out
the
that's
Charlotte
available.
market to sell right on out.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for reference, that was 13 days back in 2021. Today in 2025, going into 2026, our days on market is over 50 days.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
in
crazy.
Charlotte. It is. It feels a little crazy for those of us who lived through that crazy time. But at the same time, for Charlotte, we're still in a seller's market.
Still in the seller's market.
It's not as strong
Yeah.
of a seller's market, and it's becoming a little bit more balanced. But until we have 4 months, 4, 5, and 6 months of inventory on the market
Yeah.
to sell, we're in a seller's market.
Yeah. So, and that was one of the things that I wanted to ask was just the current state of market. And you kind of, went into that as far as comparing where we were at just 2-3 years ago versus where we're at today.
Yeah.
So today, 58, you said 58 days on the market?
Yeah, over 50. Depending on the source that you look at, it's definitely over 50 days.
Over 50.
Yeah.
So back during the pandemic, how many days did a house sit on the market?
Oh, zero.
Zero.
Yeah, it was very common to sell a house before it was even listed.
So how do you talk to your seller clients and prepare them for your house is going to be sitting on the market for a good period of time?
Right.
How do you prepare them for that?
Yeah, so it's just, I believe in communicating clearly and concisely, right? This is what the market is telling us. This is the price the market is telling us that we can get for your home. And if you want to shorten the amount of time that your house is on the market, there's only a couple of things that you can do. You either change the condition or you change the price, right? You change the condition or you change the price. And it's probably better to just change the price than it is to change the condition because you don't know exactly what, your buyer is looking for, right? So I'm just very straight up with them to say, hey, this is the average. We can beat this average. Right. But it means that we've got to come in and be very aggressive with our pricing strategy and that sort of thing. So that has been interesting, developing those skills of it's easy to be honest with people when you're telling them what they want to hear. You understand what I'm saying? It is easy to be honest with you when I'm telling you what you want to hear.
Yes.
It is difficult to, and I'm not saying I shouldn't say difficult. It can be more challenging to be honest and operate in integrity, right?
Yeah.
And tell people, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but this is what the market is telling us, so you need to hear it.
These are the facts.
These are the facts.
This is not some made up bedtime
and these numbers
story.
do not have feeling.
Numbers don't lie.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's been very interesting, just developing that part because again, and back then we were just printing money and everybody that sold a house was so happy and they just had all these returns and all this wonderful stuff.
Multiple bids on, they had a house for sale. You can pretty much guarantee that you're probably going to get 2 or 3 offers over asking.
And it could be painted pink.
Okay.
And no one would care.
Nobody cares.
They were buying every single house. They didn't care. And it's just not that market now. So having those conversations with sellers is super duper important. And having the other conversation with buyers, right? Because it's also still necessary. Buyers and home buyers and investors, right? To just have that conversation of, yep, we're in a less strong seller's market. And yet that doesn't mean that every house is on sale.
Right.
Right. It doesn't mean that you're getting houses at 50% off. That's just not realistic.
Right. Right. So as an agent, each agent has to decide how they're going to generate business, how they're going to generate leads. So you and I kind of talked about this a little bit, but I want you to share kind of what your bread and butter is when it comes to generating leads, because I know that agents will door knock, they will send postcards, they will cold call, send text messages. So there's a number of lead generation strategies. What's your go-to? Like, what's your preferred lead generation strategy?
That's a great question. I prefer to work with people that I know or work with people that I know. Right.
That you know.
That I know.
Yeah.
Right. So if you send me somebody,
right,
then I know them because you know them.
Right. No. Okay. Got it. No, got it.
I like to work with the people. I mean, and that is to say that I'm not, and I know people laugh at me when I say it, but I don't like working with Gen Pop. I really don't. I don't. When you
not
door
like
knock,
we on the prison yard.
Yes, I don't
Gen
like
Pop.
working with Gen Pop because when you door knock, you have no idea what's on the other side of that door. When you cold call, you have no idea what's on the other side of that phone.
Right.
And again, I'm from Charlotte, as the name of my company, Charlotte Native Real Estate Advisors, would suggest.
Yep.
So I do have a great network of people that if I fully tapped into it and fully tapped into the potential of it, then, whatever goal I set and say, hey, I want to sell this number of houses, I'd be able to do it if I tap fully in.
Yeah.
So I do tap in. And in 2026, the plan is to go deeper and wider into that database of people. So that would be my number one lead generation tactic, would just be, going to the people that I know, my sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And then the second one, while I continue to tap that sphere of influence, my second piece has got to be growing that sphere of influence.
Sure.
So that I know more people.
So that's amazing. The lead generation strategies, like I said, there are so many out there. To be able for your business to thrive for 10 going into 11 years, based on people who know you and the people you know, is amazing.
Yeah.
Because there is a skill set within you having this circle of influence, having this referral network where people are sending you business, right? So the skill set within that is being able to talk to people, to understand what their needs are, and to coming up with solutions to whatever problems they're having in regards to real estate.
Definitely.
And so I didn't ask that question just randomly. Like, I think it's super important in real estate to know, whether you're an agent or an investor, that we are problem solvers. Yeah. We come up with solutions for the people who just got the job relocation notice and they've got to sell fast. The family where a family member has passed away and now they need to sell grandma's house or mom or dad's house, and they're not sure where to turn. Divorces happen every day, unfortunately.
Life changes.
So life changes.
Like all the life changes.
And so there's different reasons why people need to sell, and they need someone who is a trusted source of information, someone who is knowledgeable, and that's definitely you. So kudos to you for having such a strong skill set in being able to be relatable to people, to actually love on people. I know that's why you're thriving in this business, in this industry, versus UPS, because you said it earlier, at UPS, there wasn't really anything to hold on to that got you up in the morning to say, I am ready to start the day because I know at UPS I'm making, a positive change. Not really. I mean, you was hitting the numbers. Yeah. But was that fulfilling to you? And that answer was no. And
exactly.
So it was on that time to move on to the next industry.
Yeah. So, and I think that's also for me, that is what drives me, right? Because I think that home ownership, whether you are doing it as an owner occupant or whether you're doing it as an investor, and whatever that investment looks like, whether it's a buy and hold, whether it's a flip, room rentals, any of that kind of stuff, these are life-changing moves.
Yes.
So whether you're doing it, again, as an owner occupant, if you're the first homeowner in your family, you're literally changing the lineage of your family.
Absolutely.
At that point, right? Because if I grew up in a house that my parents owned. So then I bought my first house when I was 24, 25 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's because I saw it, right? So it's important. It's very important, especially in our community,
Yes.
right? And a lot of my clients look like me, work with everybody, and yet a lot of my clients look like me. And when I'm talking to people and they're saying this is the first home, and you've got like a 4-year-old son or a 4-year-old daughter, and it's like now your son or daughter is growing up in a house that you own.
Yes.
And you have no idea the impact on that until that child becomes an adult and home ownership is the first thing on their mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then from an investment standpoint and from all of the just the earnings potential, right? Yeah. From owning investment properties and being able to do that and just start with, because I mean, for you started just by buying your house.
Yeah. I bought my first house at 22.
Yeah.
I'm about to age myself. That was,
you don't have to say how many years ago.
Some years ago.
Wasn't that
some
many
years ago. But it's back in 2007. No, 2008. I moved to Charlotte in 2007, and I bought my first home in 2008, and I still own it today.
Yeah.
And it was so random because when I moved to Charlotte in 2007, I started my job, and I lived in an apartment for like the first time. Like I moved from my mom's house to an apartment for the first time. Because I lived at home all of college except the first year. I wanted to get the freshman year experience. But after that, I moved home because my mom's house is like 10 minutes from A&T.
Yeah.
So it didn't really make much sense for me to live on campus, right? So when I moved here in 2007, I got that first apartment experience, and I did not like it. It's like, why do I hear horns honking? Why do I hear traffic going down the road? Why do I hear what's going on above me in the next unit, like the unit above me? And I can hear what's going on next to me. And what are these ants? Because I didn't have ants at home. So I know these ants aren't because of me. Right. Because my mama taught me how to clean up really well. So we don't have this ant problem.
Right.
And so saying that to say that apartment living, it wasn't it. There will not be a year two of apartment living.
Yeah.
And so I was randomly reading Creative Loafing. You remember that?
Yes,
publication,
yes.
that newspaper from back in the day? And I saw an
Shout out to Carlton.
ad. Yeah. So I saw an ad for townhomes for sale. And I called my Uncle John, and I was like, Uncle John, I don't know anything about buying houses, but this seems to be a good deal.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what should I do? Should I pursue like trying to buy one of these townhouses? And he said, absolutely.
I love it.
He was the only one at the time that I had in my family who had owned a house for like a very long time. Well, he's the first. I'm sure there were others in the family, but he was the first one that came to mind that I needed to reach out to my Uncle John, because he was a independent real estate agent for Allstate at the time.
Nice.
So he was also a businessman. So it was like, let me call Uncle John.
Yeah.
And
he told you right.
He told me right. He was like, absolutely, you need to go. Can you go today? Like, call today. Like, he was like adamant about getting that done. And thank God for Uncle John. Shout out to him. Still on that house today.
Yeah.
I have a tenant.
Awesome.
I tenant in the townhome today. So it's cash flowing. I think the mortgage is like $700 a month.
And it's almost been 20 years.
Yeah. And the rents, I get, this is before I had to pay the property manager, but rents is like $1,550 a month. So we're doing all right.
Doing very well.
Yeah. So definitely wanted to have you as my real estate agent on the podcast, not only because you're one of my best friends and have known you almost the whole 18 years I've been here in Charlotte. But not only that, but also because I know you're great at what you do. And I want to make sure that people who are interested in home buying make sure that they know you are here in the Charlotte market as a reliable, knowledgeable, caring resource.
Definitely.
And so whether you are on the retail side and you're looking for that primary residence, or you are looking for your next investment property, reach out to Miranda. So, and this is for those that are here in the Charlotte market, but Miranda is an agent for Keller Williams. And so if you live in another state, Miranda has built up such a solid network through Keller Williams that she can refer you to trusted agents in your state, in
Absolutely.
your area. So that's not a problem. So you may not have a Miranda in your market, but she can connect you with someone that can help you reach your house buying or home buying goals. So you and I recently went to go look at a house.
Yes.
I started off just buying traditional rentals as a real estate investor. And for the last 3 years, have focused on room rentals. And so saw this house on MLS, called Miranda up. Miranda, I want to go see this house in Charlotte. And so I knew it was going to be something else versus what was on that MLS because there was only 3 pictures on the MLS.
No interior pictures.
No interior pictures. So you ought to know when there's not many pictures on a listing that it's going to be something interesting when you walk through those doors. But the reason I wanted to see that house is because it was listed as having 5 bedrooms. And so for me, when I'm looking for room rental properties, I want at least 5 bedrooms with enough square footage to add at least 1 more bedroom. If I can squeeze a second bedroom for a total of 7, I'll do that. Want enough square footage. If I can squeeze a third or a 4th bathroom, definitely want to do that and max out the full square footage to get as many bedrooms and bathrooms in there as possible. So professionally, did what I was supposed to do, sent Miranda my pre-approval letter because those are the rules. And just because it's your friend doesn't mean we're going to cut corners and not send pre-approval letters. Miranda, here's my pre-approval letter for my lender. Let's go see this house. So we go out here. The house is located on the west side off of, was that Betty's Ford Road?
Ford.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
off of Betty's Ford Road. And so we walked through this house and it was like a blast from the past.
It was.
It was like what, from the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you walk in here, no upgrades, no updates to the furniture. It was like walking through your grandma's house. And it was
it was very clean.
It was very clean. It smelled just like
ammonia.
Like ammonia. You know
It was like grandma's house.
For better or for worse. It smelled like ammonia. We walk in and on the coffee table is the largest family Holy Bible, like perched up on the coffee table, like open to, whomever lives there, probably their favorite book in the Bible. Yeah. And so such a nice warm feeling. So I did put in an offer on the house. Unfortunately, we haven't heard back from the seller's agent.
Not all agents are professional.
Not all agents are professional. But we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, reach out to Miranda tomorrow with more houses that I want to see and just continue to make offers.
And that's what I love about working on the investment side is the less emotion, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say no emotion, but there's a lot less emotion because it is kind of like a corporation.
Oh yeah.
Looking at a property, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas on the retail side, when I'm working with, first-time home buyers or move-up buyers, move-down buyers, however you want to say it, there is a little bit of emotion. There is a little bit of, I haven't heard back they didn't respond, so we're taking the offer off the table or, that kind of thing. So, and there's no right or wrong because this is an important purchase. So if you're emotional about it, you should be.
Yeah.
But that's why you hire a professional who doesn't get emotional
100%.
About it, right?
Yeah.
So, but I do appreciate that on the investor side because it's truly just a business decision.
Right.
And if she doesn't respond, and I've followed up with her multiple times, if the agent doesn't respond, thank you next.
Yeah. Thank you next.
Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, plus the price they were also a little bit out in left field on the price on that
they
one.
were out of the stratosphere on this price. Because like I said, the house original to the house being built, with the exception of it looks like there was an addition on the back of the house where they added like a living room, maybe another bedroom and so forth. Mm-hmm. But house definitely needed a lot of work. But from what I saw, like I said, it's enough square footage to put the things in that I would want to put in from a room rental investment property perspective. Mm-hmm. But this is a numbers game. And so don't hear back from the seller's agent ever. That's fine because we've already moved on to other properties that we're going to make other offers on.
Right.
And at some point, someone will say yes. So, Miranda, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Just kind of like just doing like a recap of, the last 10, 11 years because we talk all the time. but not really talk about your history and your business, and the history of your business. And so I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you.
And I wish you much success in 2026. If you are looking for a reliable, highly, highly professional, highly, just refined individual, you can reach out to Miranda. We're going to put her contact information in the show notes. And so that's it for us at the CoLiving Investing Podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.